today is adding and subtracting fractions with like and unlike denominators and mixed numbers. Okay, we know that when you're adding and subtracting fractions with like denominators, you will add or subtract the numerators. You will keep the same denominator, and you will always, always, always simplify your answer. Okay, so we will do some examples. We have 3/4 plus 3/4. We already have a common denominator, so we're just going to add our numerators. 3 plus 3 is 6. Keep the denominator. This is an improper fraction, though, so we are going to change this to a mixed number. In order to do that, we will divide using the top in, bottom out method. So the 6 goes in the house, and the 4 stays on the outside. 4 goes into 6 one time. 6 minus 4 is 2. So the remainder will always become the numerator. And the denominator is going to be what is on the outside of the house. So we have 1 and 2/4. However, 2/4 can be simplified. We have to ask ourselves, what number can go into both 2 and 4? Well, that's 2. So you're going to divide the top and the bottom by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So your answer for this problem is 1 and 1/2 once it is simplified. Okay, next one. You have 7/12 minus 3/12. So we already have our common denominators. 7 minus 3 is 4. And keep the denominator of 12. We are going to simplify and ask yourself, what number can go into 4 and 12? Well, that's 4. So 4 divided by 4 is 1. 12 divided by 4 is 3. So the simplified answer for this problem is 1/3. Word problem. It says Dominique's plant for the science fair is 15/17 of a foot tall, and Tiara's plant is 9/17 of a foot tall. How much taller is Dominique's plant than Tiara's plant? Okay, so if you want to figure out how much taller, you are going to subtract 15/17 minus 9/17. Okay, we already see that the denominators are the same, so we're just going to subtract. Sorry about that. 15 minus 9 is what? Well, 15 minus 9 is 8. Sorry, long day. 15 minus 9 is 6. Keep the denominator of 17. 6/17 is the answer. Okay. Now we are going to get into adding and subtracting fractions with unlike denominators. Okay, so the denominators are not going to be the same. So the first step is to find a common denominator. We're going to use basically what we did with the comparing and ordering. Number 2 is rename both the fractions so that they have the same denominator. So whenever you do that, remember, whatever you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top. Then steps 3, 4, and 5 are just like when you had the same denominator. So you're going to add or subtract the numerators, keep the same denominator, and simplify if possible. So some examples. We have 2/3 plus 3/4. So you're going to rewrite it vertically. And you're going to say 3 and 4. What's a common denominator between 3 and 4? Remember, you always want the smallest common multiple. Well, that's going to be 12. What did you do with the 3 to get to 12? We multiplied by 4. Whatever you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top. 4 times 2 is 8. What did you do with the 4 to get to 12? You multiplied by 3. Whatever you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top. 3 times 3 is 9. So now we have the same denominators and we can add our numerators. 8 plus 9 is 17, and keep the denominator of 12. But what is this? This is an improper fraction now. So we're going to use the top in, bottom out method again. So 17 goes in the house, 12 stays out. 12 goes into 17 one time. 17 minus 12 is 5. Remember, the remainder always becomes the numerator, and the denominator is the number that is on the outside of the house. So our answer for this problem is 1 and 5/12. Okay. We're going to do another one. It's a subtraction problem. 3/4 minus 2/9. What's a common denominator between 4 and 9? Well, the least common multiple between 4 and 9 is going to be 36. To get from 4 to 36, we multiplied by 9 and do that to the top also. 9 times 3 is 27. From 9 to 36, we multiplied by 4. And remember to do that at the top. 2 times 4 is 8. So now we have 27/36 minus 8/36. And we are going to subtract. Whenever you subtract those, you get 19/36. Okay, 19 is a prime number, so this is going to be our smallest form. This is simplified, and you just box your answer and you're done. A word problem says the mall is 3/10 of a mile from my house. So here's my house, and here's the mall, and that's 3/10. Says, and Walmart is 1/6 of a mile from the mall. So here's Walmart, and it's 1/6 of a mile. Says if I walked from my house to Walmart, how far did I walk? So I'm walking all the way from here to here. So what operation are we going to use? We are going to add 3/10 plus 1/6. Okay, so whenever you are adding, again, we need a common denominator. The common denominator between 10 and 6, the least one, is 30. What do we do with the 10 to get to 30? We multiplied by 3. Do that at the top. 3 times 3 is 9. What do we do with the 6 to get to 30? Multiplied by 5. So now we get 5/30. And we add those together. 9 plus 5 is what? 14/30. We notice that both of these are even numbers. Whenever you have two even numbers, they can always be simplified by 2. 14 divided by 2 is 7. 30 divided by 2 is 15. This is the simplest form, so 7/15 is the answer. Okay, you can try this one on your own, pause the video, and then start it back up whenever you are ready. Okay, so it says Joy ran 5/8 of a mile and Eric ran 1/3 of a mile. How much farther did Joy run than Eric? So if you're finding farther, you're going to subtract 5/8 minus 1/3. What's a common denominator between 8 and 3? Well, it's going to be 24. To get from 8 to 24, you multiplied by 3. To get from 3 to 24, you multiplied by 8. 15 minus 8 is 7. Keep the denominator of 24. 7/24 is your answer. Now we are going to get into adding and subtracting mixed numbers. It's just going to combine the unlike and like and add whole numbers with that. So whenever you're adding mixed numbers, you're always going to rewrite the problems vertically. That just helps whenever you are changing your denominators. So we have 5 and 7/8 plus 3 and 5/6. A common denominator between 8 and 6 is 24. To get from 8 to 24, what did we do? We multiplied by 3. Remember, whatever you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top. Okay? So, what do we do with the 6 to get to 24? You multiplied by 4. Whatever you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top. 5 times 4 is 20. Okay, so now we can add. 5 plus 3 is 8. 21 plus 20 is 41 over 24 to keep the same denominator. We have an improper fraction here now. So we're going to do top in, bottom out. 24 goes into 41 one time. 41 minus 24 is 17. 17 is now the numerator. 24 is the denominator. So 41/24 converted to 1 and 17/24. However, you still have to add the whole numbers that are here. So our final answer is 9 and 17/24. Okay. Try this next one on your own. You can pause the video and start it whenever you're done. Okay, so 14 and 5/6 minus 2 and 1/9. Common denominator between 6 and 9 is 18. To get from 6 to 18, you multiply by 3. 5 times 3, is 15. 9 times 2 is 18, so 2 times 1 is 2. 14 minus 2 is 12. 15 minus 2 is 13/18. That is the final answer. Word problem. It says Kevin is 48 and 7/8 inches tall. His brother Keith is 5 and 5/8 inches taller. How tall is Keith? Okay, so if Keith is taller than Kevin, you are going to add 48 and 7/8 plus 5 and 5/8. Okay, looking at our denominators are the same, so we're just going to add 48 plus 5. 8 plus 5 is 13. 4 plus 1 is 5. 7 plus 5 is 12 over 8. We have an improper fraction here, so we're going to divide. 8 goes into 12 one time. 12 minus 8 is 4. 4 becomes the numerator. The denominator is 8. So you have 1 and 4/8. But 4/8 can be simplified by 4, which is 1/2. So you have 1 and 1/2. Remember to add your whole numbers. So your final answer is 54 and 1/2. Remember to always simplify. Try this one on your own. You can pause the video and then check it whenever you are done. It says a single roll of wallpaper unrolls to 15 3/4 yards. If you hang 13 3/7 yards on the wall, how much wallpaper will be left over? If you want left over, you're going to be subtracting 15 3/4 minus 13 3/7. A common denominator between 7 and 4 is 28. To get from 4 to 28, you multiply by 7. Remember to do whatever you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top. 3 times 7 is 21. To get from 7 to 28, we multiplied by 4. 3 times 4 is 12. Okay, when we subtract, 15 minus 13 is 2. 21 minus 12 is 9. And 28. Okay, so 9/28. Can anything go into 9 and 28? Well, the multiples of 9 are 1, 3, and 9. Multiples of 28 are 1, 2. Can 3 go into 28 evenly? No, it cannot. So that is your final answer, 2 and 9/28. Okay, we're going to do a couple more. 12 and 8/9 plus 8 2/3. You can pause the video and then check. Okay, so 12 and 8/9 plus 8 2/3. Okay, common denominator between 9 and 3 is 9. So you don't have to do anything with the 8/9. To get from 3 to 9, you multiply by 3. 2 times 3 is 6. 12 plus 8 is 20. 8 plus 6 is 14. Okay, so we're going to do top in, bottom out. 9 goes into 14 one time. 14 minus 9 is 5, which is the numerator. So 14/9 converted to 1 and 5/9. So your final answer is 21 and 5/9. Okay, last one. 10 2/3 minus 8. You can pause the video and then check. Okay, so we have 10 2/3 minus 8. This is like saying 2/3 minus 0. 2/3 minus 0 is 2/3, so you can bring 2/3 down. 10 minus 8 is 2. So your final answer is 2 2/3. Remember, when you are adding and subtracting fractions, you have to have a common denominator. Whatever you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top, and always simplify.